how much is this going to cost? This is the big question we get for every single project. It doesn't matter how large the scope is, how small the scope is, renovation, new construction, furnishings, or even just a consultation. The big question is always, how much is this going to cost? The truth is, it's kind of difficult for me to give you a number right now. There's a lot of variables. The first being design fees. Design fees are based on the scope of the project. So new construction, a full house gut job renovation, an addition is most likely going to have a much higher design fee than a single room furnishings or just maybe a bathroom. That is something we have to really dive into and kind of figure out, but design fees can vary from $5,000 to a smaller project all the way up to, low six figures for a project for a really large new build or a very in-depth commercial project or renovation. And construction costs, that is a big variable as well because the scope of work, again, really impacts the construction cost. Are you adding an addition? Well, that's kind of the equivalent, if not more intense than a new build construction. Or is the construction very minimal and we're just mostly kind of giving a facelift to the existing space? But the construction cost, like we said, can be $35,000 for a primary suite bathroom, or it can be up to, $1 million for something, much larger. Materials and finishes, though, that's where there is a really big variable. There's entry level materials, and then you have, the top of the line level 10 everything. Porcelain tile, that's a couple dollars a square foot, to a marble mosaic that's $100 a square foot. So it really has to decide what level of finishes and materials you're comfortable with. Same with appliances. People ask, how much is it to renovate a kitchen? We've done some kitchens that are $100,000, smaller footprint, mid-level appliances, not a ton of cabinetry. But we've also done kitchens that have been $250,000 that have had walls moved. They have had appliance packages that are $100,000. You go with some of these Vikings or Wolves, throw in a 48-inch range, column refrigerators, freezers, ice makers, some of these really cool wall ovens that do, all the fancy features. And then, a dishwasher or two dishwashers, your appliance package can really, really go up. We've had appliance packages that have been like almost half the price of a kitchen. So you just need to decide, do you want full chef appliances that are super large and, super impressive? Or are you comfortable with a more mid-level appliance? And furnishings. So furnishings, there's a wide range. Furnishings, we have a really cool investment guide that we figure out what your comfort level is. And, are you comfortable spending $3,000 on a sofa that's more entry level? It's not an investment piece that you're going to have for decades, but, it's a really good, solid sofa that we are comfortable selling you. Or are you wanting a sofa that, in 15 years you may want to recover because it's built so well? That sofa might be $15,000, $20,000. But in the investment guide, it really lets you click through your comfort levels, and then at the bottom it shows you how much, say, the living room, for example, would cost at your comfort level. So we've done living rooms for $50,000, we've done living rooms for double that, and to the level you want it finished. Do you want the space to look magazine ready? Do you want it styled? Do you want, your built-ins, your beautiful built-ins that cost a lot of money, styled and finished? It can be thousands of dollars to style out built-ins. And I think that's a cost that sometimes people don't budget for. But the process is really, what is your budget? What is your comfort level? Like, what is your max in? And what matters most to you? So then we try to kind of work backwards. If you're like, hey, Nicole, we have $200,000 that we are ready to invest in our home and our life. We like kind of mid to upper range. We love vintage. We love real materials. What can we get for that? And you tell us, like, my kitchen's the most important, but we really don't cook a ton, but we do entertain. And we were like, okay, let's get your living room, dining room, and kitchen done for that 200,000. As opposed to somebody coming in and saying, I have 200,000, I want to do my whole house. And then we kind of like halfway do the house, if that makes sense. Like, there is furniture, the house has been renovated, but none of the spaces truly feel like you or truly feel done. There has been multiple times we've gone into somebody's home, they've used a designer, and they didn't have a bad experience with the designer. They just never felt like it was finished. And it really is that last 15%: window treatments, pillows, accessories, plants, that make a house feel like a home. But the investment guide really can help us figure out how much to budget for those final moments. And flexibility. I think having the flexibility in your mindset of what is going to get done, even maybe what the phases are, is really important. Most of our clients, if the scope of work is larger than a room or two, do move out. So making sure you budget for an Airbnb for whatever the duration of the project is, I think is huge. You are so much happier if you don't have trades underfoot every day, especially if you have children or dogs. It can be really emotionally draining to have the trades coming in every morning at 7:30 and then working some nights till 7:30 at night because they do want to stay on track. The next kind of with the flexibility is the fund source. We have clients that have, written us checks from a dozen different bank accounts. And there's nothing wrong with that. Money comes from a lot of different places for home projects. Some people have just saved up the cash. Some people have pulled out a second mortgage or some other type of, retirement withdrawal or investment withdrawal. Some have trusts that have been set aside. Everybody kind of does it a little different. And I don't think there should be any shame or embarrassment on where the money comes from. So if you want to talk through your options with us, that's totally great. But we want you to stay within a budget you're comfortable with expectations that meet that budget. But communication is key. If we are open in the beginning of how much we're going to spend, what it's going to include, then everybody is on the same page. We've done enough of these projects where we can get pretty close. We really work with the contractors that have the ability to pull the numbers. Yes, there's going to be a surprise or two, but we always kind of have that in our mind that there might be a few extras here and there. So we try to budget out a certain percentage of the project for those extras, so it's not having to come from somewhere unexpected. But if you have any budget questions, please reach out. Set up a discovery call, shoot us an email at hello@ournicksoninteriors.com. And we would love to kind of just chat through what your goals are, what your project might be. We do virtual consultations and in-person consultations, as well as projects in Central Florida, as well as across the United States. So really reach out. I love to answer kind of budget questions and